Good morning, everybody. I am really excited that you've decided to join us and understand the challenges and the journey and all of the above to know how do you apply for a business loan or line of credit or credit card, what's the importance of it. And I wanted to say welcome to all of the 12 participants that we have online. I'm excited for you to be here, and I want to say thank you to the Women's Business Center, ODU, and Deborah Gittens and Tasha Sanders for having me here today. I'm super excited, and typically what I usually try to do is do a round robin to understand who you are. So in the chat room, if you will start this morning by telling me the name of your business, and what you're looking to get out of this particular presentation today, because your time is valuable to us, and we want to make sure that the material that we're providing is really important to you and want to know as we move through this journey over the next 2 hours that this material is exactly what you were looking for. At the end of the presentation, Tasha and I usually will open it up if we have enough time for questions and answers. And at that time, you can either take yourself off mute, or you can put it in the chat. And either way, we'll try to answer your question. The other thing is when we get to the question and answer session, I will put my name and contact information in there as well if you have additional questions afterwards that you would like to ask. And I love the Women's Business Center. I love what they stand for and the information and resources that they offer to help the community with their businesses, whether you're a startup business or maybe you're thinking about doing a business but you're not really sure, or maybe we have some subject matter experts on the line that have been in business and you're just taking your business to the next level or revamping it, restructuring it, because as we know, the pandemic and COVID-19 has presented a lot of challenges to our economy that nobody even really thought of that would ever take place. So you may be strategically changing your business, and I appreciate and thank you for being here. So I actually I'm the Vice President of Fulton Bank here at the Bonnie Road location. I've been a financial advisor for over 24 years and have had a wonderful career journey. And as I have either been a district manager, small business banker, banking center manager, assistant manager, private banker, broker, all of the above with the journeys that I've had, I like to try to pass on the information and volunteer my time, especially for the Women's Business Center, to be able to help you so you don't have to struggle. And that's the purpose and what we're looking to do today, is to help take off any struggles that you feel that you are having or information that you might not have known, and help you with the strategy that you have in place to forward your business, start your business, or take it to the next level. So as Deborah had mentioned, my name is Sabrina Davis, and you know, at Fulton Bank, our value statement guides everything that we do, and my commitment is to treat my clients the way that I would want to be treated, by listening and fully understanding their pain points, even before recommending solutions. You know, providing the right solution is critical to address any short-term or long-term needs of my clients. And I'm extremely passionate and dedicated to bring being a trusted advisor to the table. So the reason why I share my value statement is because not all banks are the same. And if you are rejoining us from the last presentation for the credit, the difference between personal and business credit from last week, thank you for joining us again. some of this in the beginning will be something that you've heard on the last presentation, and I appreciate your patience while we get through this for the new participants that are joining us. But just for a quick review, there are 3 top reasons why some businesses fail, in my opinion. And I want to bring those to the forefront so then you can overcome those challenges and know these things are things that you want to have in place to be successful. And then we're going to roll into your bail team, the bank or credit union, the A, the accountant, the I, the insurance, and the L, the lawyer or your attorney, and kind of take a brief moment to explain the importance of that team that can help you strategize and overcome any challenges that you might be having in advance, and the importance of having that team ready when you may or may not need them. But it's important for you to know why and who and the differences between the two. So let's briefly talk about the top 3 reasons why, if a business has failed, usually the root cause to that. Number 1, lack of capital. So if you don't have the capital to be able to start your business or have saved quite a bit to be able to put that on the table, then you may find some challenges. And that's why the Women's Business Center has brought this presentation to the forefront, because we want to help you understand how to create or be able to find working capital. And we will go through the presentation to understand all of those details, what the right working capital might be for you and the right solution for you and your business, and give you a strategy, hopefully, that you can move forward, whether if it's choosing Fulton Bank to reach out to. I'm here at the Bonnie Road office. Please feel free to reach out to me. Or you have another bank or another credit union that you would like to reach out to and find out what the right strategy is for you. The second top reason why, in my opinion, businesses that fail, the root cause, is they just didn't know what they didn't know. And again, one of the really important reasons we are here as the Women's Business Center to be able to help you with some material and presentations, not only this one, but moving forward, please reach out to additional opportunities for additional resources that the Women's Business Center is offering for presentations. You know, the material is free, and I guarantee you that it will be extremely important moving forward, whether it's today you're first joining us or moving forward to additional resources or presentations that they have to help you with the, I just didn't know what I didn't know, because they understand that pain point. They understand, and they've been there and they've done that. They've helped consult with other businesses to be able to understand that is a pain point for a lot of businesses. So that's what they're there for. And then the third reason is failing to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That old chestnut. So what can you put in place to make sure that you're planning and doing things to prepare for your business, whether you're a startup or taking it to the next level? Well, quite simply, it's a business plan. You may have heard out in the community, you don't need to do a business plan. Well, I disagree. Over the 24 years that I've been a financial advisor, it's usually the top of the 3, in my opinion, when businesses end up failing, that they just didn't have a good strategy and business plan up front. And think about it. You know, what is a business plan? Basically, it's your roadmap to your success, and thinking through all those details as you're starting a business or taking it to the next level, and helping you understand what is going to be required as you move through this journey to help protect you and your business and your family as you are deciding what business you want to open, or if you've already opened and you're looking for additional capital.
All right.
So with having said that, let's move along to the bail team. What is the bail team? We had spoken briefly as to the B, the banker, the credit unions, the accountant, the I is the insurance, and the L is your lawyer. So it's so important for you to understand that you've got to put these partners in place. If you have them in place, that's great. You don't have to start anew to find these partners for the success of your business. If you don't, what are things that you're really wanting to look for? So I'm going to kind of focus on the bank, the B and the C, the credit unions. So all banks and all credit unions are not the same. We're all different. We have different business models. It doesn't make us a bad bank or a bad credit union if we don't have the right business model to help you with your business. It just means that you've got to do some research to understand what is out there and different resources for your banks and credit unions to be able to help you with your business, especially as you're looking to fund your business and move forward with those options. Interview at least 3 to 4 institutions. I highly recommend a small, medium, and large bank, all 3 different types of banks to interview. And then if you are with a credit union, or I would also advise to interview your credit unions. And that gives you at least 4 options to understand, what is the experience that I have when you have a small, medium, and large bank and the experience with the credit unions. So the reason why Deborah and Tasha asked Fulton Bank to be on this call and to do this presentation for this material, we are extremely user-friendly with small business or startup businesses on up to a full resource to help large businesses and anyone that is in the business arena. We make it easy to do business with. We are a medium-sized bank, just to give you an example. And as we go through this material, I'm going to give you some products and services that Fulton Bank offers, not because I'm trying to sell you. That's not what this journey is about over the next hour and a half that we have left, or an hour and 45 minutes. This information is only to give you an idea of what's out there. Certainly, by any means, you're welcome to reach out if anything that I touch on interests you that might be able to solve an issue for your business, for looking for working capital. However, I want you to understand what are some options out there, so as you're interviewing your banks and your credit union, that you can really ask some in-tune questions as you're interviewing them. And then once you find the right product or service that is offered by the bank and you've chosen which bank or credit union that you're really wanting to do business with, then you have to really understand the right financial advisor, the person, if you will, sitting in the chair that you've decided to partner up with, because we all have different journeys as well in our career. As I had mentioned, I've been doing this for 24 years, and there are bankers that have been doing it for maybe a month, and they've just started this as their journey for their career. So interviewing the information that the bank can offer, also interviewing the person to be able to understand what they know, and then also understanding what resources that are out there. Of course, you're here with the Women's Business Center at ODU, and they offer a full array of additional resources. So with having said that and giving you an idea of that there's different banks out there and different credit unions, we're going to go through this 8 C's of credit. So most of you have probably either applied for a loan personally or applied for a business request and either gotten approved or declined and have a story to tell on the type of experience that you have received. What the Women's Business Center has really realized is that there are a lot of banks that don't even do startup businesses. In other words, what is a startup business? A startup business is anyone that has started a business through the State Corporation Commission and has been in business for a minimum of less than 2 years. A startup business also means that if you have been in business for 3, 4, 5 years, that you're really not generating very much revenue to support maybe the loan request, you're still in your startup phase. It just means that you have those challenges to be able to pay the loan back in your startup phase. So some resources that are out there, of course, finding banks that are user-friendly to startup businesses, or anyone who has generated a very small amount of revenue in the beginning in that startup phase, can be challenging. So about a good 85 to 90% of the banks right now in the economy that we're seeing really are not doing any startup businesses. You know, Fulton Bank is one that does startup businesses, and we also specialize in small business administration loans. And the SBA is a great resource to be able to help you when you're in your startup phase or you haven't generated enough revenue to support the payment of your loan that you're requesting. So one of the questions you may want to ask as you're interviewing your credit union, your bank, do you do any loans and help startup businesses? And if the answer is no, that you have to be in business a minimum of 2 years, time to move on. Because why should you waste your time with a bank that can't help you when you're needing funding? Because relationships with the bank is really important. And finding the right relationship is important as well. So the next thing is, the question number 2 you want to ask is, do you do SBA funding, small business administration loans? Because if they don't do SBA loans, then you're really cutting yourself out of an option that might be a great resource for you to tap into. And remember, all banks are different business models. And you want to understand what all your options are so you can make the right choice for you and your business. Just because you have a bank that is around the corner to your business or from your home does not necessarily mean it's the right solution and the right bank or credit union for you. So let's go ahead and start with the presentation. It's about 24 minutes after 10. And that gives us about a good hour and a half, possibly less, because I really want to try to get some questions in there as you are understanding the material and the options. So the next hour, I want you to think of this as you not being the entrepreneur. I want you to think of this next hour as you're the bank or the banker. And I'm going to take you on a journey of what we think, how we think, and what we're looking for when we're trying to approve a client for a business loan. And that in lies the information of the 8 C's. We're looking as you come in and you're like, Sabrina, I need a business loan. And I'm like, great, sit down, let's have a conversation. I want to learn more about your business. Tell me what your business is. Tell me your pain points, or tell me what your idea is, and let me figure out together how can we get you from point A to point B to be able to figure out what that goal is that you have and how we overcome it. So the 8 C's of credit are really what we're looking for. And what are they? Here they are. We're looking at conditions. We're also looking at character. Collateral, number 3. Number 4, capital. Number 5 is the capacity. Number 6, your cash flow. Number 7, your commitment. Number 8, credit. So important for everyone on this call to understand that your personal credit score and your business credit score is very important. And that's why the Women's Business Center last week did the presentation of understanding the difference between your personal credit score and your business credit score, because you need to know the difference between the two and how can you control it and really fine-tune it to make it as strong as possible for your loan request. So these are the 8 C's of credit, but I'm going to take you into understanding each one of those C's to understand what it is that you need to do for your business to be able to make this as strong as possible presentation to the bank to be able to apply for your loan. Because at the end of the day, as a bank, we are very risk adverse, meaning that we want to take on as little to no risk as possible. So how you think about your business is, let me look for the cracks. Let me look for the challenges. Let me look through my business plan and understand if the bank looks at me, what challenges do they see? What risks do they see in me to take a chance? And that's what you really want to focus in on. Overcoming those risks or challenges that you face as a business, so then you can talk the bank into or show the bank that you're strong enough to be able to pay that loan back. Because we just want to know, as a bank or an institution, that we're going to get our money back. Let me repeat that. We just want to know at the end of the day that we want to be able to get our money back. So as we look at your business or your request, we're thinking, how do we know for sure we're going to get our money back? And we're thinking about these 8 C's as you sit down and have a conversation with us. So the first C, conditions. This is outside circumstances that may impact positively or negatively you as a business in order for you to pay your loan back to us as an institution. So things and factors that we take in consideration. We look at economic trends, the stability of your industry. How long has the industry been up and running and going? What are the local market conditions? Who is your competition? Any barriers of entry, preparedness of the borrower, and what is your experience? So let me take a minute and talk about the 2 most important. We want to know, and of course, these are all things that you're putting in your business plan. So in your business plan, what's great is if you're able to say, Sabrina, I'd like to come and meet with you. I'm interested in Fulton Bank. I like the way you do business. You heard my value statement. Let me send you my business plan in advance so it gives you a better understanding of who I am, what my business is, the challenges and the strengths that I have with my business, and what I'm looking for. So when we actually are sitting either down face-to-face or having a conference, then I already have an idea of who you are, may even think of things outside the box that might be able to help you, and then we're spending more time strategizing. But just because you don't have a business plan doesn't mean that you should not start the conversation. Start the conversation up front with your bank or banker. Get started today. Don't wait for everything in your opinion to be perfect before you're actually applying, because maybe you don't know what you don't know. And when you're getting with the bank and the banker as your financial advisor that you've chosen to roll up their sleeves and help you with the bail team, maybe there's some things that you haven't thought about. Maybe there's some things we want you to go back to the table and rethink about. We have done this, and it's not our first rodeo. It's not the first time that your business has asked for a loan, the type of industry that you are in. So let us help you. And another good reason of why you may not want to choose that banker that just sat down in the seat. You may want to choose the banker that has a lot of experience so they can help you and your business with things that you may not have thought about. They may be able to help your business when it comes to marketing, things that maybe help you with additional resources to bring in revenue. So those are the things that I like doing when I'm helping my clients. So when I think of, number one, economic trends, a couple of things that I want to bring to the table to have you kind of get an idea of what this particular C is talking about. So economic trends, who would have ever thought that the pandemic, COVID-19, was ever going to be a crisis within our economy? You know, what are you doing right now to mitigate that risk? What are you going to do in the future to mitigate that risk? You know, another example when I think of economic trends is Blockbuster. You know, they went out of business. I think there's one left. It was not a part of the franchise. It was some Blockbuster that was opened beginning way back in the day that they were able to not have to do the franchise and buy in. And I think they're the only ones that are still there. But when I think of Blockbuster, what is it that put them out of business? You know, and quite simply, it was technology. You know, it ran the gamut and just went on without them. They just thought they were king of the hill. They knew everything. They were doing well in their revenue stream. And then there was Redbox that started to eat at their revenue generation. And then now you've got the online portals such as Amazon online, and you've got Netflix, so on and so forth, that own the biggest part of that industry. And quite simply, it put Blockbuster out of business because they did not adapt to those technical and technology opportunities to take them into the future. And those are examples of what you need and think of to put in place for either your business plan or the conditions of your business to be able to have a conversation. Well, you know, I'm asking for this loan, and I'm prepared to have that conversation with my banker as they're testing any cracks that they might see in the business or challenges to be able to overcome those in a conversation with you. There's nothing like interviewing a bank or a banker and you sit down and you have a conversation with them and you sit down and you're like, well, I need about $50,000 for my business. Okay, great. Let me get your name, address, phone number. We'll apply for this business loan for you. And then you get I'm sorry, you're declined. Have a nice day. That is a very challenging relationship that you have with the bank. I would highly encourage firing your bank and finding an institution in a bank or credit union that really rolls up their sleeves and helps you strategize maybe things you haven't thought of. Or if they're not wanting to get to know you and your business pain points, things that you feel are your conditions of your business, then they really are not caring about the success of trying to approve you for a loan. You know, when you find those banks or there's the financial advisors that are willing to roll up their sleeves and say, you know, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? They really get in to know you because it's not transactional. It should be relationship. So although you're asking for a loan today, I want to be able to help you in the future as well. And what kind of a financial institution am I if I'm making you go through the same old gamut every time? Okay, great. Give me your name, address, phone number, application. Okay, later down the line, give me your name, address, phone number, application. That's not a relationship. Really, I challenge you to look for the bank or the credit union that you can have a relationship with. I should be able to reach out to you and say, have you thought about this? And you haven't even called me and asked. I'm thinking, this would be great for Angela, Holly, and her business as we thought about things that were challenges that she thought of that might be able to help her. For Karen Carr, and so excited Karen's here today, and then Gwendolyn Perkins. As I've grown to know you and your business, or Monique, and understand what's important to you, I should be able to reach out with options and strategies that you might not even thought of, that we've already built that relationship. I know you, I know your business, and I'm saying, you should strongly consider this for this reason. So when you're looking at your experience in the conditions of this, when you've got industry experience, you may be the subject matter expert. Let's use landscaping as an example. You may be an expert when it comes to cutting grass or landscaping, and you do it well. You've helped so many customers, and you're now wanting to move on and own your own business to be able to help take it to the next level. And you're like, okay, I've done that off to the side. I really know that I can do this as a business now. Let me go ahead and start and open my business, but I need some funding. One thing that additionally in conditions that the bank is going to look for is, great, you're a subject matter expert in the industry. You know what you're doing. However, have you ever run a business before? And if the answer is no, don't get discouraged. We may have a conversation to be able to put that on the plate by saying, can you have an advisor, a partner that has run a business before to help you figure out how to run this business? Or what do you have in place, maybe as a manager or a partner that is going to not have ownership, but be an employee that has run a business before to help you get over that hurdle that the bank may be asking, have you run a business before? We're also looking at education in some cases. If you've got a lot of education and you went to college and you have a degree in your industry, all those things help build on a case for you as you're coming to the bank to ask for a loan. The next C, number 2, is your character. A couple of things that we're looking for is the business information that might include your relationship with your bank, your payment history, business credit score, longevity in the industry, and any background information that might help us overcome and make your character stronger as you're applying for this loan. We're also looking for job history. The subject matter expert. If you have been flipping hamburgers all your life and all of a sudden you decide to wake up and start a landscaping business, how does that fit? What is your job history and your background to help us understand you are the subject matter expert in the landscaping? Fit the puzzle together. You have all the pieces, but how are you going to help the bank put that piece in place and put the puzzle as a full picture of understanding what your character is that can help us move to an approval when it comes to your loan application? Who are you? What is your character? What have you done in owning a business? Job experience. It's almost like your resume. Not I'm applying for a job resume, but what is the historical background of who you are and what can you put together to help the bank understand it makes sense to be able to lend you the money for this business venture. The next one, collateral. This one tends to be one of the biggest challenges in the 24 years that I've been an advisor, If you are a startup business, some banks may consider you a higher risk. I should probably go ahead and say all banks are going to consider you a higher risk, and that's only if you find the bank that specializes and lends to startup businesses. And in a lot of cases, they may ask for collateral. Just because you have collateral does not mean that you're automatically approved. And here are some resources that you can use as using collateral, depending on what that bank may ask you for. And in some cases, they might not ask for collateral at all. So things you want to consider and question. What are you financing? Does it have or hold value? What is its useful life? And what loan to value will it have? And what's the cost? So there are different loans out there, and I'm going to give an example. Here's another commercial, again, just to give you an idea of some resources and products that are out there, whether you're reaching out to SunTrust, BB&T, whether you're reaching out to Sba Bank, Langley Federal Credit Union, whatever bank you're going to be interviewing. You know, if you're looking to finance equipment, it holds a value. And you may be able to use that equipment as collateral for the loan. And Fulton Bank has a lease for equipment, whether it's vehicle or whether it's just general equipment. And we're going to look and see what the value is, and we can lend up to 100% loan to value. So with having said that, that's what that means, what the loan to value, what's its useful life. You know, when you think of equipment, if it's a computer, it's going to have a limited lifespan. So we're only going to give it enough value based on what that lifespan is. So that's what it means by useful life. If you're looking to finance a commercial building, you know, it's going to have value, and based on the value that it has, we may lend up to 80% loan to value, or SBA will allow us to go up to 90% loan to value. So some different resources that you can use for different collateral types. We talked about equipment and vehicle. Blanket just means that everything that the business owns, we are going to use it as collateral for the loan itself. Not just one piece of equipment, not just one vehicle. We're going to use all equipment, all vehicles, everything the business owns, and that's called a blanket collateral. Some banks, like Sba Bank, will do government contracts and hold them as collateral if you're looking to do business with the government or state. Insurance, if it has cash value, some banks will consider cash value to use as collateral. Then you've got your simple cash and CD. You've got real estate. You've got equity in real estate, whether it's commercial real estate, personal real estate, investment real estate, that could possibly be used as collateral. SBA is a great resource to help mitigate some of the shortfall if you do have collateral up to 75%, or even if you don't have collateral. And what that means is, quite simply this, SBA is a great resource that the bank may use as long as the bank offers being able to do SBA loans. So what is an SBA loan? Small Business Administration. Basically, if you come to Fulton Bank and you're like, Sabrina, I only want to put 10% down. I don't have, 100% collateral. SBA, which we are a premier lender for SBA, I'll reach out and say, okay, an SBA loan might be a good resource. That is quite simply a government-backed loan up to 75% to be able to get the banks over the hump, to be able to use them as a collateral resource. So if you were to fail on your business and default on the business loan, and we used SBA, then we go to SBA and say, okay, we need you to pay that 75% that you guaranteed to do this business. So it takes off some of that risk to the bank in order for you to do this loan. So that's why another question you want to ask the bank as you're interviewing is, do you do SBA loans? And if you find the banks like the BB&T and SunTrust and a lot of banks out there that do SBA lending, another question you want to ask is, what type of SBA lending do you do? If you are looking for SBA lending, there's a lot of different SBA loans out there or lines of credit. So you want to understand what type of SBA loan or line of credit that might be enticing you for your business venture to ask for a business loan. Let me give you an example. There is 7A SBA loans. As long as you are looking for working capital, it could be through equipment. And I have had some clients that do 7A for commercial real estate loans. You may want to consider SBA 7A. If you're just looking to buy a building or some equipment and you don't need working capital, SBA 504 might be an option for you, but you've got to find the bank that does those types of loans. So as you're interviewing, if you think this is a resource, a product that might be a good solution to consider, those are questions you want to ask the bank up front. Do you do SBA lending? Do you offer 7A? Do you offer, which SBA loans do you offer? So again, Fulton Bank offers all SBA loans for consideration to add products and services to be able to solve that option, or at least give you additional options to understand what's out there as a full gamut to consider. So capital or liquidity is the next C. What is the borrower's cash position? How much money do you have personally for your business to inject to be able to do this project? So most banks are going to require that you have at least 10% skin in the game, or up to 20, 30, and maybe in some cases 40% skin in the game. So what does that mean, Sabrina? So let me explain to you what skin in the game means. We're going to ask for you, let's say you have a $100,000 project. We're going to ask that you put in a minimum of 10% of your own money up front, which in this case would be $10,000, and in order to do that project. We want to know you've got skin in the game. And then we come in and do the $90,000 behind that as we're looking to approve you for the request. And that is quite simply if we do and choose SBA as an option. You may have been in business for more than 2 years, generate a good amount of revenue, and we may want to consider conventional financing. Well, most banks are going to ask for 20% or more for you to put down on the project, or keep you at 80% loan to value if it's a business that is looking to do commercial real estate to be able to have skin in the game. So if you're looking for a business credit card or a business line of credit, if you're looking for a lease, in some cases, in a lot of cases, we'll go up to 100% financing. So where it doesn't require you to have skin in the game. But we're going to look at all the C's. So if we don't ask for skin in the game, and in most cases we're going to, is it the right solution? Is it the right product for you? Because just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. We also look at how much debt the business already has. We'll also look at how much you have left over after the transaction. So for instance, let's say you have $50,000 and you're getting ready to go in business, And it's going to require $50,000 for you to get everything open and open your door and start your business. So should you use all your $50,000 in cash up front, or do you use the bank's money, put 10% in, and then after 2 or 3 or 4 years, pay off the loan? Because if you have used your $50,000, great, that's an option, and you get a year down the road and you're like, I've used my $50,000, now I need more, and then the loan product that we need to use is going to require that you put 10% skin in the game, you've used your $50,000. It may take you out of the realm of being able to get you approved if you've used all the money up front. So that is a great example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. So when I am advocating and highly recommending getting out and finding the right banker, the right bank for you, come up and talk to them about a strategy, hopefully before you've even started your business. If you've started your business and you're looking to take it to the next level, that's the importance of having a good relationship with your financial advisor. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you think through all the options and come up with a good strategy to move forward with your project. So the next C is cash flow. What is the rule of thumb for saving for unexpected expenses for a business? You know, as I think through this particular C and as a banker and a financial advisor, what I am looking at is, okay, this customer is asking me for a loan, but they don't have any money in the account as a backup. Whether it's 6 months, 8 months, or 12 months of fixed and variable expenses to your business, I'm looking for some reserves in an account. Maybe it's a CD, maybe it's a 401k, maybe you have a resource you can tap into, but you're not going to unless you have an emergency for your business. So my question to you is, if you have an unexpected expense for your business and you have a business loan, how do I know you're going to be able to still pay that monthly payment if you don't have any reserves in your account? You're probably not going to be able to. And we take that in consideration because at the end of the day, the banks and the credit unions just want to know that they're going to get their money back. Shareholders, board members of any bank are looking to understand how we're going to make sure we get our money back. So if we give you a loan and you're not going to be able to have reserves or you don't have any reserves, we know if you have an unexpected expense, you're not going to be able to make your monthly payment on that loan. So it's one of the things we can take in consideration. So I will share with you, based on history, experience, the number that is usually the number that is in most businesses that are successful. Steve Jobs, all of the Amazons, all of these successful businesses, they really did, and you can do some research, they really did save a good 8 to 12 months of all fixed and variable expenses that they projected, in knowing that what was going to be their business expenses, and saved up at least 8 to 12 months of those expenses. But please don't get discouraged with this screen. Don't let that discourage you. Please just reach out to your bank or banker as you're interviewing and see what the right strategy is for you. Maybe you don't need that much in reserves. Maybe you have another source that maybe it's a line of credit that you put in place that you can tap into to be that unexpected expense resource that you can use in case you have an unexpected expense. Like your HVAC system goes down that you weren't aware of. Maybe you are a transportation company business and one of the trucks or semis break down. What are your unexpected expense options to be able to fix that so you get back up and running? Personal credit score. Well, and one more thing I want to talk about with cash flow. Another thing that the banks look at is residual income. Well, let's talk about what residual income is. If you were to quit your job and your family does not have any other income but this business that you're looking to either start or take to the next level, and maybe you're already in business, we want to know that you have a backup. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe you were military and now you're out of the military, but you have income. Maybe it's Social Security. Maybe your spouse has other income coming in. We want to make sure that we're not setting you up to fail, that you have a backup in case something happens to this business that doesn't put you and your family out on the street. If you have a residual source of income, that can help strengthen the option for us to be able to move to an approval as well. So here's what I want to say to that. If you're considering quitting your job and starting a brand new business, I ask that you reconsider. There are different strategies as you're looking to move forward to start your business that we as bankers, as financial advisors, that have been in place for a while to help you think through that before you actually pull the trigger and quit your job. So things that you want to think about. So the last piece, your personal credit score. In most cases, the bank is going to ask you to personally guarantee this loan request. So what does that mean? Yes, the debt as a business loan or line of credit will be in the business name. However, and it won't show on your personal credit score, but we will pull your personal credit score to understand, can we trust you? What is a business credit score? What is a personal credit score? Basically, at the end of the day, it's the bank being able to trust you and how you've handled your trade lines or debts in the past. If you have a challenge there, please don't be discouraged. I know the Women's Business Center has additional resources. I think we've got another series next month to be able to help you understand what's the difference between personal and business credit. If you're challenged in this area, it doesn't necessarily mean, with a certain low score that you'll get declined. If you have a lower score, it's probably going to cost you more money on a higher rate or possibly lead to a decline. And when I think of this particular screen and your personal credit and your business credit, someone's good credit does not make someone's challenged credit good. In other words, if you're thinking about doing a partnership, 50-50 or 49-51 ownership of the business, anybody that's 10% or 25%, depending on what product that you're applying for, as an owner of the business will be required as a personal guarantor in most situations. There are a few situations to where the bank may not require you to personally guarantee it, but it's because you have a strong relationship with that bank or the business is strong enough to self-sustain not having a personal credit score. So with having said that, I would say a good 99% of the time, they're going to ask for personal guarantee anyway. So those are things that you want to keep in consideration. If you don't know what your business credit score is, take that class the next time it goes around to be able to understand some resources like Dun & Bradstreet and different options out there to help you be able to build on that score, help you understand what your business credit score is, and that you can control both. And you can do things to put in place, things that you can put in place to make it even stronger. So let's talk about different products that are out there. So you've got equity lines, and I'm going to go back to this other screen. Different things that you can actually put in place. Let's talk about products and services. So we talked about Sba Lending and what that is. Let's talk about equity lines. So in some cases, for emergency backup or even using as collateral, the bank may ask for you to use a personal equity in an investment property, commercial property, or even your personal residence to use the location or your building as collateral, things you want to consider. Some people will take equity as an equity line of credit, put it in place on personal unexpected expenses, and take the money they had in reserve for that and put it into their business. At least you have a backup, right? So let me give an example. So Fulton Bank has 80% loan to value on equity in a home. That is no cost. We even pay for the appraisal. And it gives you a line of credit, which is interest-only payments, no prepayment penalties, that you can put in place on a personal level while you're actually doing your business and starting your business, or you're taking your business to the next level, and you can use that as a backup so you can release funds that maybe you had personally to be able to use for your business purposes. Let's talk about business credit cards. This is another area that just because you can doesn't mean you necessarily should. There are ways that you can put business credit cards in place. Let me give you an example. Fulton Bank has a 15 months no interest, no fee annually on a business credit card. You can be a startup business as long as you have pretty good score. Personally, you can actually get approved up to $35,000 for a business credit card, right? Just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. And what that means is if you have that same $100,000 project and you're like, wow, that sounds like a cool deal. Interest only, no interest for 15 months on a line of credit for my business, and I don't have to worry about paying any interest. Let me just go ahead and go all over town and try to do $100,000 in credit card financing. And that's where you're going to start getting yourself in trouble, because listen to me when I say this. Credit cards and lines of credit were never meant for long-term financing. They are only meant for short-term financing. So the bank will take that in consideration. Let's say you're doing a business line of credit. The bank is really looking to see that you use it for a short-term solution. Let's say you have a $100,000 business line of credit and you tapped it out and you're using all $100,000. We're looking to show that you've paid it down to a zero balance at least once or twice that year within 12 months, because credit cards and lines of credit are never meant for long-term financing, but they can serve as a great resource for overcoming some options. So remember that business credit card that's 15 months no interest? What's great about that is if you have some supplies, maybe $10,000, $20,000 or less, that you're looking to do, and you can get 15 months and you have a strategy to pay that off within 15 months to 2 years, that's a great resource and a great product to be able to tap into, to be able to solve having to apply for a business loan or a line of credit. Business loans are meant for a strategy for more longer term. If you're looking to pay off something within 2, 3, 4, 5 years, a business loan is an option. If you have commercial property, banks will usually go up to 20, 25 years in some cases as an option. So it's a fixed rate, fixed payment. At the end of the day, it's paid off. So that is really a strategy for long-term financing. So consider those options. We talked about leasing. That can go up to 100% financing for equipment or maybe even vehicles. And then there's micro lending. A lot of those resources have dried up this year or these last 2 years as COVID-19 has put a strain and challenge on our economy. So there are very few micro lenders out there right now, and be careful. These could be a predatory, possibly, not always, but it could be a predatory loan. And typically micro lending is for that client that maybe had more challenged credit, or maybe one of these C's of the 8 C's are challenged, and then they can't get bankable, they're not bankable, or they're not being able to get approved for a bank loan for their business, so they go out and they see a predatory micro loan option out there. Before you pull the trigger on that, please get with your banker and see if it's maybe the right solution for you to be able to find the right resource out there and the right solution for your business. So, Tasha, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Thank you. There she is. I'm going to bring up this last slide. So this is my contact information. If you want or you have a need to just talk to me about something, whether it's just a strategy, and at the end of the day, if you choose Fulton Bank to do your business, great. But don't let that be the decision maker just to reach out, because whether you choose Fulton Bank or not, or if you have a fantastic financial advisor like Karen Carr, I see that she's on the line through BB&T and SunTrust and so on, you know, and you're just wanting to just kind of test it, make sure you're on the right path and stay with your bank, that's fine too. I'm here to help with any options that you would like to use me as a resource. I do credit counseling as well. If there are anyone on the call that has some challenges with their credit, they want to be able to make it stronger, but I encourage you to sign up for the Women's Business Center session for your personal credit and your business credit before, so you have a good idea of what I'm going to be talking to you about. And wanted to really open the line up now, as we have a lot of participants. I think we've got 16 that are online and have joined. If you have any questions at this point, Tasha will be able to go down the list and show if it's in the chat room, or if you want to take yourself off of mute to be able to ask that question. And we'll try to get a few questions in and see what we can do to at least point you in the right direction.
Well, I had gotten some earlier from the chat that I was going to read off really quickly. And it was like when you first initially asked everyone to introduce themselves. Perkins had said she had a startup company and she would like to learn about the possible funding options. I hope your question was answered. Gwendolyn, if the question was not answered, if you can please, if there's additional questions that you need to ask, please do so now. Are you still here? She's not here. Okay, the next question. My screen keeps moving. Basically, Karen was wanting to know if you had any COVID updates as far as, I guess, benefits with the options of business financing. Is that the question, Karen? Are you still with us, Karen? She's not here either. Okay.
Okay. Well, and you know, I'll take a moment and talk about the COVID-19 because it's important that everyone on the call understand. You know, and Tasha, thank you for bringing that out. So as Karen had mentioned, you know, for COVID-19, and Karen is with BB&T. I know her very well. She's very good, and respect her in our community, and she does a great job with helping her clients as well. I wish she was on the call so I can say thank you for being there. But what Karin is talking about is we have specifically, whether you're looking for an SBA loan or you're looking for a conventional loan, and it's a larger project, we're going to ask you to fill out a questionnaire, a COVID-19 questionnaire. How is it impacting your business? How do you see that it might impact your business, and what are you going to do to overcome the options? So those are it's a different questionnaire that's out there right now. You will also find with the 16 participants that's still on with us, if you are looking for SBA lending, very, very few banks are lending to SBA right now because they're assigned and deployed to helping the PPP, which is being able to apply for the forgiveness of the stimulus package that the government has put out. And whether it's last year applying for the forgiveness of what you applied for last year, or whether it's this year, you're going through the second round of requesting the PPP, that is where most teams are deployed now if they did offer SBA lending. So Fulton Bank is one that is still taking new SBA requests. So it might be a little bit of a challenge for those who are thinking SBA might be an option for them. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you're in a different state, I can give you an example of Fulton Bank being in 5 different states. There are different banks and credit unions in different footprints. So at least we can point you in the right direction of a right bank or credit union that if you're in a different state that can help you. Fulton Bank is in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Virginia, and I'm missing one, New Jersey. So that just gives you an idea of what our footprint looks like. And we actually do some lending in Carolina as well. So just because we don't have that footprint, reach out to me or Tasha or Deborah, and they'll at least try to point you in the right direction of a right bank or credit union that might be able to help you and partner up with you to overcome what options that you're looking for. So great question, Karin, and I appreciate you being on the call.
Okay. All right. The next question, or basically statement, was Angela Holly. She was just basically thinking about starting her business and doing research at this point. So did you have any additional questions, Angela?
No, not at this time. I'm writing some things down, but yeah, I'll leave it at that for right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Angela, I appreciate you asking the question. Give me an idea of what type of industry that you're looking to start your business.
So that's the thing. There are 2 different things that I'm thinking about that are totally different for different reasons, but I'll share this one. A beauty supply store is one that I've been thinking about off and on for years.
I'm sorry, I got some water at the same time I thought you were going to continue talking, but you got me.
Oh, no, you're fine.
That's okay. So beauty supply, and what's the other one you were thinking about?
So I was actually going to contact you later, but I'll just share it.
Okay.
Everybody's going to say, oh, she is really all over the place. So
no, not at all.
I'm currently in education. I've been in education for almost 25 years, and I need to change.
Gotcha.
I've been taking some classes towards becoming a contract specialist. And in doing so, I started thinking about, what kind of business, even though I was going into the classes to become a contract specialist, I started thinking, what kind of business could I possibly do to, possibly get a government contract?
Very good.
So I was thinking about a shredding business for paper and computer parts for, of course, personal, but, businesses as well.
Right, absolutely. I think they're great options to consider, when you're thinking about which direction and you know what, please, I'll tell you, probably 100% of the people on this call had an idea of 2 or 3 different ways or journeys that they're considering, and then they really kind of fine-tune which direction that they want to go. So as you are considering your startup, one of the things that I would highly recommend as your next class, and I know that maybe the Women's Business Center is going to be having that, is getting SWAM certified, and also understanding how to do business with the government and the state.
Okay.
I know that Deborah and
Yeah, I was going to suggest that you contact me, and we can actually, and I'll send you my phone number. We can set up a time so that we can speak.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Fantastic resource, and they're free. Then they're subject matter experts, right? So yes. A great example of, I'm so glad that you were brave enough to say, okay, I'm just going to kind of give an idea. I know I had to pull it out of you, but we got there.
It's okay.
But, what a great opportunity that you've even said that we can at least point you in the right direction of, okay, let me do that seminar and be on there to understand, what is really, and you may already know this, I don't know, and hopefully you do reach out to me and I get to know who you are and be able to help and additional resources to point you in the right direction. But, as you're a startup and you're trying to figure it out, what I love about what you're doing is you're like, let me just put it out there. Let's talk about it. Come see me and we'll discuss the pros and cons of the two. And it sounds like you're very passionate. And thank you for your expertise in being a teacher. I know that so many challenges. My next door neighbor is a teacher, and being able to have to be on Zoom with the children and everything. And I can just imagine the challenges that you're having to face. That's just turned that industry upside down, and who knew, and all of the above. So I understand, maybe this is a good time to think about going into business. And I really look forward to talking with you about some more ideas that I have for you, and at least getting you pointed in the right direction. When it comes to financing for startup business, it's a very strategic approach. And I'm looking forward to talking what is the right approach for you, discussing based on assets and different things that you have in place or maybe not have in place, what we could put in place to be prepared for that. So thank you for being honest and transparent and putting it out, and brave with the first question. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you too, Tasha.
You're welcome. The SWAM certification class, the information workshop, it will be on the 23rd. So that is next Tuesday. So it is next Tuesday. Registration is open. Have a few more seats left. So I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat for those of you that may be interested.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that is the SWAM certification information session. So what that does is just to prepare you with the documentation, all the requirements, prerequisites before you go online to apply. Then there will be a second workshop, or normally when we were in person, there's a second workshop where they walk you through applying. So that will prevent any type of kickbacks or delays in your approval process. So, but this one is to help you get started to apply before, you would actually need to have your business structure together first and then move forward with that whenever you're ready. So our next question was from Monique Barrington. Monique, are you still here? Yep, you're still here. All right. Monique has a small healthcare practice and she's in need of funding. And she does not want to get into debt. She wants, I think she's looking for grants to help. What city are you in, Monique?
In Norfolk.
Okay, have you heard of their Capital Access program?
Capital Access?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, I'll send you my number and we'll connect. But as far as that's a grant. but other options as far as how Sabrina will be able to assist you. You can, Sabrina, as I don't know how else other than the loan.
Yeah. So one of the things that's going on with the stimulus package is if you have, and I think what was important to her is she did not want to go into debt. So, but she needed to start her medical practice, I think is what I heard.
Yes.
Is she, okay. So with
So
having
what
said
happened,
that, okay, go ahead.
COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Monique, continue on. She's listening to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a little delay. So right now, presently, I'm in Florida because in addition to COVID happening, my mom she needed care. So I actually have been tending to her care. But with regard to, so this presentation was certainly beneficial with regard to the C's of credit. So fortunately, I have good credit, me personally, the business, primarily me as well, but living off of I've been contributing the capital from my personal, but as it dwindles, I'm trying to look for other means of gaining funding to help the business grow. Yeah, that's
Okay.
all. So I was just
And
seeing
thank you
how
for
best.
clarifying. Yeah, and I hope everything works out for you and your mom. I mean, I know that's with this challenging environment, it's unsettling.
Yes.
So I would reach
Yes.
out to any municipality of each city where you're going to be doing business and see if they have additional resources as far as grants or helping those businesses out. Now, have you been in business already?
Yes. Since October 2019, and it again untimely because it wasn't really on my timeline because I was working full time and I intended to start the business just to fill the gap in care. But now the model has changed. I feel like every step of the way, it just continues to change
Right.
with COVID. So now doing tele, which is good because then I'm able to still practice and generate some revenue, but certainly just not there at the point where I'm able to be profitable, and then making the decisions with regard to the monthly payments, needing help and when to be able to bring an employee or looking forward to the time that I'm able to pay somebody to help me, whether it be with the phone calls or just seeing the patients or, just those types of things.
Well, a couple of things. There's a lot of benefits that you have in place if you were looking to do borrowing in the future. And one of the things that I would highly recommend, whether it's me or your financial advisor or banker, is to sit down with them and strategize on, how do you proceed moving forward? What are your options, Monique? And even if you're not wanting to pull the trigger at this point for borrowing, at least your banker or financial advisor can tell you what your options are and, if we had to take that step. So when I think of you not wanting to borrow, I think of, maybe using the bank's money that charges no interest. So, maybe that business credit card, 15 months, no interest, is an option, whether it is through, supplies. You had mentioned payroll. So when you're talking about payroll, if you've already been in business and you have had a payroll, have you applied for the PPP?
So I haven't. And so, no, I haven't. I'm thinking about payroll because I need the help, but
Yeah.
not paying someone. Right now, I have someone and I'm doing an exchange of services. So they're getting free healthcare for services that they're providing for me right now.
Okay, so although you have people that are helping, it's not through a payroll capacity.
Correct.
Is that what I hear? Yeah. So then that
I missed
leaves
some of your
you
words. Say that again. Sorry.
So are you, like, on a CPA level, are you showing that you're doing payroll for taxes?
Am I showing that I'm doing?
Are you showing that you're doing a 1099, or you're paying payroll through paying, a paycheck or anything like that?
I am not yet, but I'm in conversation with my accountant to see how to do that. So right now I just have them tracking the work so that I can
Yeah.
show. Yes, so I'm doing that. But that just started
Okay,
2021.
Yeah, so that's good. I would get with them and see if you can possibly apply anything that you've done in the prior last year to applying for the second round of the PPP. If she does,
Okay.
or he does find that you can apply, right now, Fulton Bank has to where, if you're a client, and that just means you have to have an account, business account with us, but you can even apply for the first round. So you can apply for the first round and the second round right now. We've opened our portal to be able to do that. And just reach out to me if you're CPA, because the first thing I would be doing is telling you to contact your CPA to see if you can actually qualify. And if you can qualify, then I can, point you in the direction of even applying for the first round of PPP that you didn't get a chance to.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that.
So again, another reason why it's important to, at least have that conversation to see what we can do. But don't delay, because that, when the government's out of the money, they're out of the money. So I want to be able to make sure I create that sense of urgency. Let's get that answer as of yesterday to try to point you in the right direction. Free money is free money, right? If they're offering it and you qualify, let's get it.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for being transparent and putting that out there and being brave. Thank you.
All right, next I have is, I think it's Janisha. And she's looking for assistance in finding startup, finishing startup, and equipment purchasing. So what advice for that?
Yeah, so startup with equipment, that's probably going to be an SBA request/lease, depending on that bank. Some leasing options out there, they require that you be in business for a minimum of 2 years. So there's a couple of options out there, and just reach out to me and let's, kind of figure out what the right strategy is to be able to point you in the right direction. Not sure who you're banking with. You may want to call them just as an example, or maybe you're already frustrated with them and whatever. But please just reach out to me and we can point you in the right direction to be able to do that. I tell you that the biggest, over the 24 years that I've been doing this, and Deborah, you could probably weigh in here, one of the biggest challenges is, as a startup, trying to find a bank or an institution to help funding with working capital for a startup, because banks are so risk adverse, they don't want to take on the risk. So therefore, it's hard to find that right a bank to be able to do that. So, Deborah's been doing this for many, many years. She was a corporate banker as well, and she can allude to all of that as well. So finding the right bank and the right institution to be able to help you, like Fulton Bank, and please reach out to me. It's why she has me on here, is because we do have different strategies. We have different resources. And, it's not just Fulton Bank. I work with other banks in the community, like Car and Car. She was on the line, and Sono Bank, Ray Feliciano. And, if they have a resource to be able to help you, I don't want you to leave me if you're my client, right, as a trusted advisor. I want to be able to reach out to Sono Bank and somebody that I trust and say, look, I know you've got this product, but you're not allowed to like them better than me. I want to keep you. So as a financial advisor, I have an opportunity at that point to lose you as a client just because we don't have that product. And I don't want to do that. So that's why I work with other banks in the community as well, to be able to find the right solution. And it's, again, finding the right solution for your startup and what you're looking to do. So, Deborah, do you want to weigh in here? You're on mute, hon.
Thank you for that. I think you've covered all the bases with that. Sabrina's been a team player with all of the financial institutions in Hampton Roads for a long time, and they do work together. So when she says that she would work very hard to help find the correct solution for you, she will.
Thanks, Deborah.
You're welcome.
And I hope that helps with the question. If you want to take yourself off mute, if there's additional thought that I didn't maybe answer for you, would love to hear from you.
Hi, everyone. So yes, I do have a further add-on detail.
Okay.
I'm in the freight industry. Okay. So I've already started up my business. I'm just in a position where I've kind of somewhat depleted, but not too much depleted, my personal funds, which is why I'm looking for the financial assistance as far as loans and grants are concerned. So yes, I am a startup because it's a brand new business, but my knowledge is not of a brand new business. I studied before I decided to invest in myself and in the freight industry. Now, what I'm looking at is I've already registered with state and federal to bid on my contracts. I've currently already started to dispatch and start my book of carriers, my book of brokers, and other dispatchers as well. I've also networked with Truckers Affiliation, and I've joined with them for the extra sources of incomes that I want to add on to my business that I'm just not at a situation where I can do it right now. So I've networked with other companies where we can both just, piggyback on each other and benefit from each other. But I'm at a standstill because I applied for my operating authority. And with your operating authority in the FMSCA, you need to get insurance, which is where I'm kind of stuck at, because I also need to purchase a truck. I'm not looking to lease a truck. I'm looking to get a loan or a grant that's going to cover me so I can purchase the truck. I'm really not into leasing. I want my own. I don't want that long contract. And I know where to go to not like pay an arm and a leg, but for a good quality truck. Because I've put myself out there. I've put my business out there. I've already established my DUNS, my business accounts, all of that is already done. My licenses, all of that is already completed. I've already done that. It's just my next step is to further my opportunities to my business so that way I can really get it going, because I need to be able to lease carriers underneath of my authority. And I can't do that until my insurance, which is a $750,000 insurance policy to cover my loads and my truck. But I can't do that until I purchase my truck. So I'm stuck right now where I don't want to be. And because I'm new, I guess that's why I'm asking for like startup loans and businesses, but where I'm at is not technically startup.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, and I hear a couple things as a freight forwarder, whether it's through trucking or shipping, and I know that you've got your resources, and it sounds like you've done a lot of research. You know what you're doing. You're a subject matter expert in it from prior history experience. As a startup, that's a pricey ticket for insurance, and sometimes that can be a little challenging. And then you need to go ahead and purchase a truck, and so on and so forth. And it sounds like you're starting your own fleet. So I would say, based on what you said and what I just heard, SBA 7A is a great resource. Or I know you said you don't want to lease it, but I want you to think of leasing as a different product. I know that personally, leasing, like when you're doing a car from a car dealership or whatever, you've got miles and all this other stuff they take in consideration. That is not a business lease for a truck or whatever. A business lease is simply this: a 5 to 7 year loan. We don't care about miles. We don't care about the value after you're leasing it. It is just a simple business loan. Why they don't call it a business loan, I don't know. So leasing is different on the business world versus leasing on the personal consumer side of it. So leasing is a great option as well, because that gives you an opportunity of 100% financing for the truck, whereas SBA is going to require that you have 10% skin in the game. So that's why I say, you know, looking at the two and then kind of comparing. And I'm so glad that you were able to speak. A couple of things, you know, one is misinformation in the past of somebody that has told you the, you know, the leasing is like a consumer lease, has nothing to do with that, different product kind of thing. And then second of all, to help you understand, you know, you might find the frustration as a startup being able to get a big ticketed item and some options there that are there, whether we use the government as a backed opportunity to get us over the risk factor, and I'm speaking specifically on Fulton Bank, or we use leasing. And I want to also, and I'm so glad that you spoke up, because to this group, a business start date is not when you open the doors or when you did your first contract. A business start date to the bank is when you've got your state corporation commission certificate and your tax ID number. So from that moment, you are officially in business. And that's what the bank looks at. So that might put you in a situation to where you're really a startup, but not really a startup, because you've been in business for a minimum of 2 years. And I don't know, of course, I hope that you reach out and we can have a longer conversation and maybe ask you a few more questions to dissect and make it a more detailed strategy. But I'm looking forward, Janisha, to hopefully talk to you. But I hope that gives you some ideas and some ways to maybe think of it a little differently, that puts some options on the table.
Yes, thank you. And I will be in contact, most definitely.
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you so much for asking your questions.
Thank you for answering.
Ms. Tasha, anyone else with additional questions?
One more. Hold on, I think Victoria. She has a dual industry: agriculture, which is timber and bees, and business services. Is there a certain route or path or wisest to tread? Is that for financing, Victoria, or is that? Are you still here, Victoria? I think Victoria may have.
Did she leave?
Okay, she's gone. Okay, she's gone. So not sure.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking through. I don't see Victoria unless she's using another phone.
She used a different name.
Oh, gotcha.
It was a different.
Gotcha. Any other questions that might be on someone's mind or want to maybe ask up front? All right, Tasha, I think that might do it.
Okay.
And you had mentioned some additional seminars and presentations you have coming up in the future. This might be an opportunity just to review. And thank you to everyone that was on the call. I am going to let Tasha take it from here, and I wish you the very best for your business and your family as you're moving forward in your business venture. And thank you for your time. I very much value it. And hopefully those that are looking to reach out, I look forward to hearing from you. So Tasha, I'm gonna let you take it over.
All right, today we have the Women's Business and Orientation, which is at 2 p.m. today. I believe registration is still open. I will put that link in the chat. We also have tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It's called Don't Go Through COVID-19 Alone, Trust Your IT Professional. It's basically how to communicate with your IT professional and keep your data safe. So that one is a really good one, and I would suggest everyone to sign up for this one. It's kind of early, but this one was early as well, but it's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Let me give you that link. That one's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And then on the 23rd, we have 2 workshops on the 23rd. Both at the same time, sorry. So one is with Cheryl Tan, how to use video to grow your personal brand. And the other is the SWAM Certification Information Workshop. They're both on the same day at the same time at 10 a.m.
The SWAM is, I'm sorry to interrupt. The SWAM is being hosted by the SBSD. So that's not on our platform. If you register, we will have them send you the link. That's why it's at the same time. So you have a choice to go to one or the other. For those of you that need to go to SWAM, please do that. For those of you that want to see a video with Cheryl Tan, please do that. All of the videos that we host will be recorded and repeated on our YouTube channel. The SWAM one, I don't know if they're going to be recording that. So if you really need that, you should sign up for it.
Okay. So I did put my contact information in the chat. So if you do need to reach out to me, please do so. And Deborah, did you want to put your contact information in the chat as well?
Sure.
Deborah is our coordinator. And if you need any information, and if you can't reach me, you can also reach her. So
I'm going to give you our phone number where I know somebody's going to definitely pick up the phone when you call. And I will return the call as soon as I get the message.